Hey, what's up, YouTube? First video of 2026. Hey, I'm finna do my updated 23andMe results today. I'm finna show y'all that they got the genetic groups and all that on there now. So, yeah, anytime to my genealogy from something that I know now from getting my grandma on my maternal side to do the DNA test. So, yeah, you feel I'm gonna show all that. But, yeah, I ain't gonna make the intro too long, man. I'm gonna jump straight into it. Kinda cold up in here, man. Shit, 37 degrees. Y'all pray for us down here in Houston. We ain't used to this shit, bro. We some tropical niggas, man.
Cold out here, my brother. You know us black folks not used to this cold there. We the tropical people, you understand? Let them Europeans deal with this madness.
Then why your tropical ass sitting on the goddamn cooler?
So this is my updated 23andMe results. I got 87.3% sub-Saharan African DNA. Before the update, it was a flat 87, so I got a little extra 0.3 now. But yeah, 69% of it come from West Africa. 37.9% of my West African DNA is from Nigeria. Might as well say 38. But before the update, it was a 26%. So from 26 to 38%, bro, that's a big drastic jump, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's damn near half my DNA. But yeah, it's the Igbo and Yoruba people. I ain't gonna lie, bro. This update live, bro. They should have been did this a long time ago. They say distant though, so I don't know how far back this is, but yeah. Then 24.3% is from Ghana, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. From the Ashanti and Fanti people. And then Iwe and Gadangme. I don't know if I'm saying them right. So if I'm saying it wrong, y'all correct me. And then the Mende, Timne, and Crew peoples. Now, Senegambian and Guinean, 6.8% from the Fulani and Hausa peoples. And then Wolof, Fulani, Hausa, and Mandinka peoples. Now, this is where it get interesting because I know exactly which ancestor this come from. Well, at least on my mama's side. I had a third great grandfather. He was from Africa. For a long time, we didn't know like where in Africa he come from. He was born in 1822. He was brought to Brazoria County, Texas on a plantation in 1840. So he was 18 when he was enslaved. But he was brought from Africa to Cuba, then from Cuba to Texas. Now, it was more cheaper to buy slaves over there in Cuba and bring them back to Texas, but they used to sneak them in because it was illegal at that time. You know, they banned the slave trade in 1808. So I found out my third great grandfather, his name is Zachariah Taylor or Zachary Taylor, but I found out that he was from Angola through getting my grandmother to do the ancestry DNA test and 23andMe DNA test. And from 23andMe, you know, it showed a little ancestry timeline of like when exactly the ancestor arrived, and it was, you know what I'm saying, the closest. Y'all see how all of those genetic groups say distant and distant, well, this one say close. You know what I'm saying? The Congolese and Southern East African say it's close. So I'm gonna show y'all this real quick. 18.3% Congolese and Southern East African. 18% of it comes from Angola and Congolese, okay? So from the Congo and Mbundu peoples, which is where my close, see, now this one says close. My third great grandfather was Mbundu, or man, I don't know if I'm saying that right either, but if you from Congo, let me know and know what I'm saying, correct me. I don't know, but yeah. For a long time I didn't know. That's, you know what I'm saying, it's like a recent discovery. Look, I'm gonna show y'all how it do on the ancestry timeline. Come on now, load up now. Hurry up. There it go. Now, see how I say Angola and Congolese? For my grandma, Angola and Congolese was at the very, very top where the Ashkenazi and Jewish is at. See, it'll say this. You most likely had a third great grandparent, fourth great grandparent, fifth great grandparent, or sixth great grandparent who was 100% Angola and Congolese. This person was likely born between 1760 and 1850. But yeah, let me go back to the results though. And then 10.5% European, 8.7% British and Irish, 8% is from English, Greater London, UK, 0.7% from Welsh, 1.7% Ashkenazi Jewish, 0.1% Central and Eastern European, 0.1% Estonian, 1% Indigenous American. Now, it was 1.1% before the update, so I didn't got knocked back down to 1% now. The Central and South Asian. I don't know where this is from, bro. I really, really don't. Bengali and Northeast Indian, 0.5%. I don't know where that come from. I'm so confused still to this day. But Iranian, Caucasian, and Mesopotamian, 0.3%. Filipino and Austronesian. Where's Filipino? I don't got no I don't know no Filipino ancestors. Then 0.2%, yeah. 0.2% North African. Oh yeah, one more thing. I forgot to show the know what I'm saying, communities, or the ancestry regions, whatever. It's still the exact same though, but yeah. Arklatex Creole, that's on my daddy's side, man. Then Georgia Coastal Plains, that's my mama's side. Yeah, majority of them from Georgia and North Carolina. Hardeman County, Tennessee. I got one ancestor from Tennessee on my pop's side, and then one ancestor from Tennessee on my mama's side. And North Carolina, that's my mama's side. Delmarva, Venezuela, Virginia. Yeah, that's both sides. I got a lot of Virginia ancestors, for sure. Virginia Tidewater African Americans. All right, so this is my third great grandfather. I had changed it from Africa to Angola now, but yeah, this is an 1870 census record of him. All right, I wanted to share this history of the slave smuggling of Africans in Cuba brought to Brazoria County, Texas. This on the Slave Voyages website, by the way. Many people brought to Texas by traffickers in the 19th century were smuggled through Cuba directly from Africa. For example, historians Sean Kelly and Henry Lovejoy estimate there were hundreds of Yoruba-speaking people living along plantations along the lower Brazos River in the 1830s. Having survived the trauma of capturing West Africa followed by the horrors of the Middle Passage, and then likely multiple sales and further violence in the Americas, what sorts of survival tactics and social approaches did these individuals bring with them to their new communities? How would they have interacted with enslaved people from other regions of Africa, the Caribbean, or across the United States? Wow, man. Just the fact my third great grandfather went through that shit, man. But yeah, I wanted to show something else too. Hey, my cousin, she used to work at the Levi Jordan plantation. And, you know, it was a heavy African presence there too. Look, these buildings were identified as slave quarters. And based on the excavated remains, Brown drew interpretations about cultural behaviors and beliefs traced to Africa. One cabin identified by Brown as the Cures cabin contained several archaeological deposits interpreted as ritual in nature. One such archaeological deposit was interpreted by Brown as a conjurer's kit associated with the remains of a curing ritual in the southeast corner of the cabin. The second has been interpreted as a Yoruba amulet deposit found near the entryway to the cabin and containing small pieces of metal, ocean shells, glass, and bone fragments, all covered with overturned iron kettles. Brown interpreted the curious kit and amulet deposit along with other deposits containing ritual items to have formed a Bakongo cosmogram. Ritual items contained in the deposits include partially art- articulated chicken skeletons, coins wrapped in cloth, metal buttons, mirror fragments, pieces of chalk, and other objects that together suggest a ritually significant space in this cabinet. Wow, man. The Bakongo cosmogram. So that's Angola and Congolese religion, like in that. All right, I got one more source right here too. The fact that many of the slaves living in Brazoria County came from the Upper South obscured the fact that in the 1830s up until the last cargo arrived in 1840, the large plantation owners of Brazoria smuggled in hundreds of African-born freedmen who constituted at least half of all slaves living in the county in 1838. Leander and Sterling McNeil, Benjamin Fort Smith, and James Fannin all traveled to Cuba in 1835 and brought back hundreds of Africans to their plantations in Brazoria County. In February 1836, Monroe Edwards and his business partner Christopher Dart brought roughly 170 Africans up the Brazos rivers to the plantation. Shenango Nancy Antoine, a free woman, told an interviewer from the WPA in 1938 that her father had been captured in battle in Africa and brought to Texas via Cuba 100 years earlier. A freedman bureau worker in 1876 wrote to his superior reporting that he had found 500 African-born men in Brazoria County, most of them in their 50s or older. In 1913, J.P. Underwood of Brazoria County interviewed a freedman named Ned Thompson, a native African who remembered well the battle in which his tribe had been defeated by a rival tribe and he had been taken prisoner, only to be sold by his captors to a slave trader. He remembered the trip over first to Cuba and then straight to the mouth of the Bernard River. Ned claimed to have been 20 years old when captured in Africa, and in his 90s when Underwood interviewed him. Ned Thompson was a part of what has been claimed as the last shipment of Africans to arrive in the United States in Brazoria County in 1840. Yeah, this man who was smuggling slaves into Texas, you know what I'm saying, Monroe Edwards, like, bro, this man was just known as a crook. Look at this. He smuggled slaves into Brazil, too. In 1832, he used that to buy the land in Texas. And let's say 1836, he was again smuggling slaves, this time into Texas. After attempting to swindle his partner out of the profits of the venture, partly with forged documents, Edwards was forced to flee the Republic of Texas to the United States. He then tried to scam money out of various abolitionists in the United States and the UK. Partly with forged letters of introduction, he traveled to the UK, but his schemes were mainly unsuccessful, and he returned to the United States in mid-1841. Look at that. Edwards' next efforts in smuggling involved a new partner, Christopher Dart, a lawyer from Natchez, Mississippi. In 1835, Dart invested $40,000 to buy the contracts of indentured blacks in Cuba and smuggled them into Texas as slaves. In February 1836, Edwards landed 170 black people in Texas, taking advantage of the confusion surrounding the end of the Texas Revolution and the establishment of the independent Republic of Texas, which had not yet outlawed the importation of slaves. Yeah. And then where it said, although the new Texas Republic eventually outlawed the importation of slaves from anywhere but the United States, Edwards' landing of slaves from Cuba in early 1836 was never prosecuted. So this dude never even went to jail for this shit, bro. But, I mean, that's not really a surprise. You know, they racist as fuck back then. So, you know what I'm saying? Of course they going to get away with stuff like that. After this, Edwards also established a slave market on Galveston Bay near present-day San Leon. That's the end of the video, man. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to keep y'all updated, man. Stay tuned in.